All right, in this video, I'm going to be changing out the hard drive in this Xbox One X. I just got it off Facebook Marketplace. It's a little beat up, but I'm going to put the SSD from our old Xbox One in here. Obviously, the Xbox One X is superior in pretty much all ways for gameplay. And you can see it's missing some stuff on the back, but I'm going to put in the SSD. It's going to be a 1 terabyte. I'm doing this concurrently with a thermal paste upgrade video, so you could ignore the thermal paste and this little tool to remove the little cross bracing on the back of the heatsink, but you do need the screwdriver set. And in addition, you do need the hard drive, obviously, and the SSD is going to be quite a bit faster than the standard hard drive in this thing. There are 2 screws to remove the top cover, and on this one, there's a little piece of tape on the far right side covering the screw. So I'm just going to take that off. I'm sure there's a piece of plastic on the back covering the ports and that actually have them labeled. I don't have that, so you're going to have to figure that part out yourself, but there's 2 screws, and then the top slides forward towards the on-off button, and then it lifts up on one side and sort of cantilevers off. So it doesn't slide off all the way, it just slides forward a little bit, and then, like I said, lift up on one side, and then it should come free. And it is definitely a lot grosser to work on somebody else's old dust than your own. I don't mind touching my own dust from my own family, but as soon as it's somebody else's dust, though, I don't like it. Now, I do start taking off all these screws, but then I go get a Sharpie because I find out that the screws aren't all the same length. So now when I'm taking off the screws, I just use the Sharpie marker to write an S or an L, because really there's 2 types of screws, short ones and long ones, and that is how I kept track of everything. I would recommend you do that. It really helped putting everything back together. I didn't have to think about it. There was no trial and error of putting screws in the screw holes to see if it worked or not. You just went straight at it. So there's one little pro tip. And definitely the tool to remove the heatsink off of the motherboard is the other sort of pro tip. I would get that first. Links in the description, by the way, as always, and they are available on Amazon for like $10 or something like that. But I think well worth it because it did such a good job. Anyway, there's a lot of screws to remove here, and you got to take them all off. So just, you might as well commit to that. You're not going to get away with doing, fewer than all of them. There's a little connection here on the right-hand side. Take those 2 screws off, and then it sort of lifts up. Don't try to like slide it back. It has to pick up because there's a little plastic electrical connector in there. What it does, I don't know, but you got to move it. And it's attached with a ribbon cable. Obviously, these ribbon cables, Xbox loves them for some reason, but you need to be careful with them so that you don't damage them, you don't bend them, you don't break them. There is another ribbon cable on the front as well, so I do need to take a few more things off. There's 2 little circuit boards left to do, so you can see I took out that little ribbon cable. That's the super small one, and then I'm just going to take the screwdriver and remove these. Now you do need to take them off because the connections go through the metal trays. So you can see that there's a little cutout on the metal tray, so it connects through it and into the motherboard. So that's why these little side things need to come off. You can't leave them on, unfortunately. And this is going to be the same on this side. And I just keep the screws with those little side pieces as well. And like I said, they have to come off because they are securing the motherboard in through the bottom tray. Now there's 4 screws that hold the back of the heatsink on, a little X pattern there, so those have to come off as well. So lots of screws. Then you can flip this thing over and you can lift off the rest of the plastic. Again, filthy with dust, super gross when it's somebody else's caked up dust. Now there's 2 more screws to get at here, and then you can separate everything. So lots of screws, lots of work to do. And I also labeled these ones. So then I'll take off the metal cover, and now you have access to everything. So if you're just going to do the hard drive, you're almost there. So first thing I'm going to do is remove the optical drive. It has 2 cables, and that is pretty much all there is to it. Just take off the cables, and then you can set that aside. So 2 little connections, and it's pretty obvious what's what here. And then I'm going to remove the hard drive, which is obviously a hard disk drive. And like I said, you can see the SSD. I am switching it 1 terabyte to 1 terabyte, so it's not really a capacity upgrade, although 2 terabytes would probably be good if you were doing this. I would recommend 2 terabytes instead of 1, and then the SSD is obviously beneficial. So now that the hard drive's removed from the Xbox, there are a whole bunch of screws that need to be removed to actually put the SSD in this thing. Now the first 4 are these sort of rubber grommet screws. I assume that they have this rubberization around them because of the vibration caused by normal hard disk drives, which obviously the one that came with the Xbox is, so they do spin. So having those rubber bushings on there does make some sense. The SSD doesn't have that spinning mechanism as it is a solid state drive, so it's probably not necessary to have those rubber bushings on an SSD, but whatever. There's 4 more screws once you get the ones that screw into the rubber grommets off, and then you can just remove everything. Now the SATA and power connector are in one piece on this thing, and they could only really go on one way. So once you plug that in, there are 4 screws. Obviously you're going to put them back in, and these are just regular disk drive screws. So all these 2.5 inch or laptop style disk drives are the same screw pattern, so there won't be an issue there. And just keep track of where those little plastic feet are that do correspond with holes on the bottom of the metal tray. Now I'm going to take the 4 screws that have the rubber bushings and I'm going to screw those back on. Then I'm going to plug the connectors back into the motherboard, and that's pretty much it. And finally, I'll just take the optical drive and put it back in place. And you can see there's a little ring on the back of the optical drive with a hole cut out, and that just fits onto the power supply. So it's pretty easy to tell if things are upside down or not, because there's always a little cutout or a little piece of plastic that things have to fit through. So Xbox did a pretty good job in that regard. There's so many screws, so that's my only complaint, is you're going to spend about 5 hours with the screwdriver trying to remove everything. So an electric screwdriver might actually be helpful if you're going to do this, or if you just want to buy some old consoles and fix them up and resell them or something. An electric screwdriver would be helpful. So put the 2 screws on the bottom. I'll put the Xbox One X, sort of the metal housing, back into the plastic housing, a little clamshell there, and I'll reconnect this little side connector that's on the ribbon wire that has the 2 screws. Pretty simple, just screw the screws in. Now my camera does die here right after I screw this little circuit board on the front. One thing I would say though is it's easier to put that ribbon cable on with this circuit board off of the main metal unit. So I am screwing it on here, my camera dies, and then I take it off and I put the ribbon cable on without this little circuit board on the Xbox. So that's the one thing I didn't really show. And then, like I said, once that ribbon cable right there is in place, I just screw everything back on. Again, while my camera was charging, I just put this little side board on as well. Again, 3 screws. And then I put in the 4 screws for the cross bracing. Those little black ones. So very simple, not much was missed when the camera died. And like I said, when putting the screws back in, having the labels of which is a long screw and which is a short screw on the metal housing really helped, so I could just take the screw, throw it in place, and I'd be confident to know that it was the right screw in the right location. I didn't have to overthink it. Once all the screws are in, all you gotta do is take the top of the Xbox One X, put it in place the same way you took it off, kind of comes in at an angle and then slides backwards, and then there's those 2 screws, put those in, and we're pretty much done. Now because I didn't do the disk cloning on this thing, and honestly I think it's just too much of a hassle, I am going to do the offline system update. So you need a remote that's actually plugged in, wired into the Xbox. I don't think you could run it off Bluetooth at this time, and you can see that the offline system update is not highlighted, and that's because I don't have the USB in. So I'll put a link in the description as to where you can get this offline system update file. Just read it. It's obviously on the Xbox Microsoft website, and it tells you how to do it. So just get that file onto your USB stick, and then it'll open up the offline system update and hit the update button. Now I usually go away for this because it takes a while. What I found is sometimes it restarts and then I have to turn the system back on and I have to do a second offline system update. Basically I have to do the system twice. I'm not sure if that's because there was a failure in the offline system update on the first try, or if it just timed out when I walked away and did something else for a little while. Either way, I generally have done the offline system update twice before it goes through. So if it doesn't work for you the first time, don't fear, just run it again, would be my suggestion. Now, obviously you need to reset everything, and then I'll throw a video game in and do the install process onto the Xbox One X, and it's going to work fine. Basically changing to an SSD is pretty easy. It's going to run faster. I haven't really messed around with the Xbox One X with the regular hard drive in, I just had it for a couple of days, and I decided I would do the SSD switch and make a video on it. So I found that this process was fairly easy, actually. Just like the Xbox One, there's tons of screws. There's a few challenges to this. It's much more difficult than a PlayStation hard drive to change, but it's doable. It does require a little bit of patience, and it doesn't really require very much skill. As long as you can take out a whole bunch of screws, you should be good to go. Overall, the SSD should make everything run a little faster, especially on boot up and loading of games. Anyway, thanks for checking out my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.